Some women live on social media, and some women remain almost invisible. No selfies, no daily photos, no constant reminders that they exist. At first glance, it may look like indifference or even shyness, but psychology reveals something far more interesting, because the woman who rarely posts her pictures online often possesses a different kind of strength, a quiet psychological stability that does not depend on attention, approval, or digital applause. Behind this silence may hide a deeper self-awareness, stronger emotional security, and a rare ability to separate real life from the illusion of social media. In this video, you will discover the real psychology behind the woman who doesn't post her photos online, and what her behavior reveals about her confidence, her mindset, and the way she sees the world. You will understand the hidden personality traits that many people overlook, the emotional intelligence behind this quiet behavior, and why, in many cases, the woman who says the least online may actually be the one who understands life the most. Stay with me until the end, because one of the final insights may completely change the way you see people who choose silence over visibility. Before we dive in, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. At first, the woman who never posts her photos online may appear almost invisible in the digital world. Her account exists, yet it feels quiet, restrained, almost deliberately distant from the constant stream of images that dominate modern platforms. But when psychology begins to examine this behavior closely, something fascinating appears. What looks like silence on the surface is often the result of a very active inner world. Many people post constantly because their sense of presence is tied to visibility. The brain naturally enjoys recognition. Every notification activates small reward signals associated with dopamine. For many users, this becomes a loop. Post, receive validation, feel temporarily affirmed, repeat again. Yet the woman who rarely posts photos seems to step outside that loop entirely. This is not necessarily rejection of technology, nor social withdrawal. Instead, it often reflects a personality that regulates validation internally rather than externally. The quiet decision not to display every moment of life can indicate a psychological structure that values inner coherence over outer applause. Another layer begins to appear when we look at how identity develops. Many individuals construct a digital version of themselves online, carefully selected photos, curated experiences, edited moments designed to communicate a certain image. Yet some personalities feel no need for this external narrative because their identity already feels stable internally. In psychological terms, researchers often refer to this as clarity of self-concept, the degree to which a person clearly understands their values, motivations, and personal direction. When self-concept clarity is strong, the urge to constantly present oneself decreases. The person does not depend on an audience to confirm who they are. Life is experienced directly rather than documented for observation. The woman who rarely posts her pictures often falls into this category. Her attention is directed more toward living experiences than broadcasting them. Something else quietly unfolds beneath this pattern: emotional security. People frequently interpret social media activity as confidence, but psychology sometimes reveals the opposite. High levels of self-presentation can be linked to subtle forms of reassurance seeking. When someone posts a photo, the response of others, likes, comments, admiration, temporarily confirms their sense of worth. Yet when a person already possesses stable self-esteem, this mechanism becomes unnecessary. Secure self-esteem does not demand continuous reinforcement. It exists quietly and consistently. The woman who rarely posts selfies may not feel the impulse to prove beauty, happiness, or success because her internal evaluation of herself is already settled. Confidence, in its most mature form, often becomes quieter rather than louder. As the pattern continues, a different personality trait often emerges: reflective thinking. Some individuals naturally observe more than they display. They process experiences internally before sharing them outwardly. In psychological language, this tendency connects to introspection, the habit of examining one's own thoughts and emotions. Reflective personalities tend to communicate selectively. They may post occasionally, but usually when something meaningful occurs, rather than when the moment simply looks visually appealing. Their communication is intentional rather than impulsive. In everyday life, this translates into a style that values depth over exposure. Conversations matter more than impressions. Substance matters more than appearance. An additional psychological principle quietly supports this behavior: internal locus of evaluation. This concept describes how people determine their worth. Some rely heavily on external signals: approval, popularity, admiration. Others rely on their own internal standards. When internal evaluation is strong, individuals become less influenced by trends, online comparisons, or the subtle pressure to keep up with what everyone else appears to be doing. The woman who rarely posts her photos may simply measure life by her own criteria. She decides what matters rather than waiting for society to decide for her. Interestingly, modern psychological research has begun to observe similar patterns. Studies discussed in the journal Cyberpsychology, Behavior, and Social Networking have explored how individuals who engage less in appearance-focused posting often report healthier forms of self-regulation and reduced pressure from social comparison. Another body of research published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology has examined how limiting exposure to image-driven social media activity can significantly improve emotional well-being and reduce anxiety related to comparison. These findings reveal something powerful. Stepping back from constant visual display may protect mental balance rather than diminish social presence. This leads to another insight that many people overlook. Social media rarely reflects ordinary life. It reflects curated highlights. Vacations appear perfect. Relationships appear effortless. Success appears constant. The human brain, however, is wired to compare. When exposed to endless highlights from others, the mind naturally begins to measure itself against them. Psychologists call this process social comparison. Over time, it can distort perception, making ordinary life appear less satisfying than it actually is. People who instinctively avoid heavy participation in visual posting may be protecting themselves from this subtle psychological trap. By limiting exposure to the performance aspect of social platforms, they maintain a more realistic perception of life. There is also a quieter emotional dimension involved. Some individuals see certain moments as private treasures rather than public announcements. Family memories, personal milestones, or simple, peaceful moments are experienced fully without the urge to capture them for an audience. In this mindset, experiences gain value through presence rather than display. The memory itself becomes the reward. This orientation reflects a deeper appreciation for authenticity. Instead of transforming every moment into content, life remains personal and grounded. Over time, people often notice something interesting about women who live this way online. They tend to appear calm, centered, and less influenced by digital pressures. Their lives move at a rhythm that feels slightly slower than the rapid pace of online culture. While others rush to document every achievement, every meal, every gathering, she allows life to unfold quietly. This calm presence often carries its own form of attractiveness, not the kind driven by spectacle, but the kind that emerges from composure and emotional balance. Another subtle strength emerges here: attention. Social media environments constantly compete for human attention. Each post, notification, and update fragments concentration. Individuals who resist the impulse to share everything online often maintain stronger control over their focus. Their energy flows toward real goals, real relationships, and real experiences rather than the continuous cycle of presentation. In many ways, their quiet digital presence becomes a form of discipline. It reflects the ability to choose where attention belongs. As these patterns come together, a deeper understanding appears. The woman who rarely posts her photos online is not necessarily rejecting society or isolating herself. Instead, she may simply be choosing a different relationship with visibility. She participates in the digital world without allowing it to define her identity. She communicates when something meaningful arises, yet she does not feel compelled to turn her life into a continuous exhibition. This kind of balance has become increasingly rare in an age where attention often feels like currency. Many people feel pressure to remain visible in order to feel relevant. Yet the quiet confidence of someone who does not depend on that visibility carries a unique psychological strength. Her sense of self remains stable, even when no one is watching. Her value is not measured in reactions or algorithms, and perhaps this is the most intriguing realization of all. In a world where millions compete to be seen, the woman who does not chase attention may possess the clearest sense of who she truly is. Her silence online is not emptiness. It is simply a different expression of confidence, awareness, and emotional balance. One that exists quietly beneath the surface, but speaks volumes to those who understand the psychology behind it. Before you leave, a video is about to appear on your screen now. Why Gen X women are psychologically different. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the hidden psychological traits that shaped an entire generation of women. Watch it now. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.